Hey everyone, we got some fun stories for you all to enjoy today. This first one is titled, Am I mean for yelling at all my fiance's family of the type of Christmas gift they got me? This year, I went to my fiance's house for Christmas. It was my first time going, as we would typically go to my family's house instead. I got a rather pricey gift for my fiance related to his hobbies. I got nice gifts for my fiance's parents based off all the interesting conversations that we had with them before. I tried to be thoughtful about these things. And for the rest of his extended families, his aunts and uncles, I got them all small packs of chocolate since I didn't know them too well and it's my first time with them. I also did not expect many gifts from my fiance relatives since I didn't know many of them and they didn't know me too well either, but I was certainly expecting more than I got. At first, I was excited when I saw there was a big pile of gifts for me. However, once I opened the first one, it was just one piece of coal. Everyone around the room laughed, and I kind of laughed along thinking it was a gag gift and that the other gifts would be different. But every single one of the gifts turned out to be a piece of coal, all 18 of them. I started to get upset, so I cried and lashed out at my fiance. But he calmly explained apparently this is a long-standing tradition in his family where their gifts of coal to the newcomers who are celebrating Christmas with them for the first time. He explained that it's easier that way since all the relatives who might not know the newcomer that well wouldn't have to stress over finding gifts, and it's a fun experience for newcomers as well. Well, I told my fiance that I couldn't believe I skipped my own family celebration for this, and then I just left. But now, Dan and some of his family members are blowing up my phone saying that I embarrassed him in front of everyone and that I made it awkward for everyone. So, my question is, am I a jerk? For our next story is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to move out of my apartment? I've been living in the same apartment for 4 years, and this time I've had 2 roommates. One, the first 2 years I've lived here, and the second for the rest of the time. My current roommate has been a great roommate until now. She's in a long-term relationship and over Christmas she got proposed to. Now they want to live together, but they both approached me and asked me to let her fiance take over my lease and for me to find a new place as soon as possible. Well, I have a few problems with this. I feel like they should find a new place together because I lived here longer. And I've told my roommate a few months ago that I spoke to the landlord about once our lease together is up, I'll be living alone since I can now afford it. And at the time, she agreed to this and said that her boyfriend would look for a new place together. I told her this, but she said that when they started looking for a new place, that everything was too expensive and made more sense for me to move out and not for her to. I refused and told her that she can always ask the landlord if there will be units available for them in our building. At this point, she started to curse me out and has her fiance and their friends harassing me about it as well. There's 4 months left on the lease, so I'm going to ignore them, but I spoke to my mom about it and she thinks I should let them have the apartment since they'll be saving for their wedding. So let me ask, am I a jerk for refusing to move out? For our next story is titled, Am I a jerk for leaving my in-laws' Christmas dinner after I found out they didn't make accommodations for me? I got invited to my fiance's Christmas celebratory dinner. This was my first Christmas with them. I've always been picky about what I eat. I can't help it. And it has to do with psychological factors since childhood and personal likes and dislikes. Before accepting their invite, I let my future mother-in-law know that I couldn't be eating traditional food at their celebration and showed her a variety of dishes to choose from to help accommodate my needs. She refused and told me to bring my own dish. I said if I had to bring my own dish when I'm a guest, then it's better I stay at home then. We went back and forth, and I insisted I wouldn't come if accommodations weren't being made. I just thought this was a simple request for my future mother-in-law, but however she couldn't agree to it. If she really wanted me there, she would have done so. My fiance agreed that I should bring my own dish, but I didn't. When we arrived there, I saw no accommodations were made. I got up, got my things, walked out, and went home. My future mother-in-law and fiance were shocked. I got a ton of calls and texts from both of them, And my fiance came home lashing out, calling me selfish and spoiled to walk out like that over a dish that his mom didn't have to make for me. And that it was my responsibility to feed myself. How is it my responsibility to feed myself when I'm a guest? That makes no sense to me. I told him this and he accused me of starting to blow stuff up and ruining my first Christmas with his family and disrespected his mom. So I have to ask, am I a jerk for doing this? Our next story is titled, Am I a jerk for snitching and causing my friend to lose her scholarship and dream college acceptance? I am a 19-year-old female and I'm a sophomore in college. I have a friend, her name is Tia, who's 18-year-old female, who is currently in high school and is applying for college and scholarships. I helped her through the college process and she ended up getting to early action to her top college. And she got a full scholarship. I was very happy for her until recently. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours and she started to gush about how Tia's essay was so heartfelt and beautiful. I asked to see it because I thought she had forgotten to show me since she showed me her early essay drafts. But as I was reading it, I was completely taken aback. The essay was one of my college essay drafts which I'd shown to Tia for references purpose only and just for techniques. I made this very clear to her when I showed it to her. I was livid. The essay was really personal and she barely even tweaked what I wrote and what I showed her. It was almost entirely copy and pasted. I trusted her with this and this is what she did. In a fit of rage, I gathered all my evidence of me helping her with their college applications, including evidence of me sending specific essays to her, and I showed it to the school she got accepted to. She not only lost her scholarship, but she also lost her seat in the school. Now, people are calling me dramatic and shaming me of robbing her of her education. She's the only person in her family to go to college and to receive an academic and athletic scholarship, so everyone was really rooting for her, including me for this one. And while I didn't expect the outcome to be so severe, it was. Right now, I feel bad. I feel terrible. I feel like she took advantage of me, but I didn't want to be the cause of something to go so horribly wrong. I did myself justice, but it costed someone's dreams. Now I'm wondering if what I did was justified or not. So I have to ask you guys this. Am I a jerk? For our last story today, am I a jerk for putting parental controls on my TV and royally pissing off my father-in-law? I live with my wife and we have 2 kids together. My wife's parents are staying with us temporarily as their home were in some serious repairs after a freak accident. It wasn't their fault and luckily they had insurance. The repair should be completed 2 months from now. I didn't really get along with my in-laws, especially my father-in-law, but I agreed to let them stay because I thought the time would fly and it wouldn't be that bad. Oh, how I was so wrong. My mother-in-law doesn't have a job, and my father-in-law works a late shift up to around 11 p.m. When he gets home, they still watch YouTube in the living room and play music on loud volume with our speaker system. My kids are not light sleepers, but this always wakes them up. Then they would wake me up because they want me to make it stop so they could go to sleep. My kids needs to be rested for school and I need to get up in the morning to drop them off for work. My wife works the overnight shift so she doesn't ever witness this happening. I tried to talk to my mother-in-law and father-in-law about it and asked they could please keep the noise down after my kids go to bed, which is 8:30 p.m. Now, I don't expect complete silence, but I really don't think they need to have it that loud, especially late at night. My father-in-law started to argue with me, saying that he doesn't finish work until late at night at 11 p.m., so I'm basically expecting him to not do the things that he enjoys after work. I told him he can do it before work and on his days off. He complained to my wife, who is now taking his side and saying that the kids need to learn how to sleep through a bit of everyday noise. I told her it's not a bit of everyday noise and that he and the mother-in-law are being excessively noisy and inconsiderate. She's just not there to see it. My father-in-law has been sending me links to buy earplugs for the kids. I got really fed up with this. It's not my in-laws' house, and they're staying with us as guests, and I think they're being really selfish. I decided to put parental controls on the TV so that my in-laws can't use it after 8:30 p.m. until 6 a.m. the next day. Between those times, the TV cannot be used without putting a password in, and only I know it. This doesn't affect my wife since she doesn't get off work till 6 a.m. and isn't normally home until 6:20. My father-in-law is incredibly pissed off with me and said that I'm acting like a child and keep pestering me, demanding the password. My wife is also mad at me for upsetting her dad. I am really annoyed about this whole situation and I'm sick of hearing about it. So I have to know, am I a jerk for doing this? Let me know what you guys thought of all these stories in the comments below and who's in the wrong, if they're a jerk or not a jerk. Appreciate you guys liking and subscribing, and feel free to check out other stories you guys haven't heard of on this channel. I'll see you guys next time.